Right, I'm going to do a little review of my new helmet. Let's chuck it on my head. That's it, get comfy. It's a double D strap under the chin with a little button to hold it on. And yeah, what do you need to know about this helmet? So first of all, I've already done a little unboxing which I'll tag onto the video, and this is the first time riding with the helmet, so this is a first impressions, not a long termer. First impressions review of the helmet. And right, let's fire the bike up, go for a little ride. First of all, it's a very sunny day today. What a beautiful day. So this little extra visor will come in handy for keeping the sun out of my eyes. So what can I tell you straight away? The first thing I can tell you is that the little sun visor that comes down is a nice shape. It doesn't like get in your vision, so it's quite sort of low down and it's not getting in my way, if that makes sense. And there's a lot of air coming in through through the gap. So if you were riding around and you were hot, this is definitely a good way to cool down. Yeah, so that's the first thing. Secondly, let's go to the main visor, if I can. Yeah, there we go, main visor. So I've put this black visor on because I think it looks cool, and I'm a cool kind of dude. And yeah, what can I tell you about the visor is that the visor is nice and big. It's like loads of vision. So on other helmets I've had, I've got like a little navigator down here which I normally can't see without having to dip my head, so I can see that just by glancing down. So that means I've got more vision downwards, but I've also got more vision here as well, either side of my head, which is obviously very useful, especially when you're talking about peripheral vision. So like for road riding, obviously that's really helpful, but I suspect for off-roading it means you can get your goggles in that space, so that's definitely a plus point for both of those uses. So I suppose the next thing to talk about is the venting on the helmet. And so I've got 3 vents on this helmet. There's one on the chin somewhere down here, and there's 2 up on the top of the helmet. Nothing at the back, so it's just the 3 vents. So yeah, we've got a big one here on the chin, and then on the top you've got 2 that sort of click open and closed, and they will cool the top of your head. How well they work I couldn't be able to tell you yet, because not really gone very far, have we? Typical weekend driving everywhere. Right, there we go. We'll get these vents open on the top. There's one, and the other one, the other side, that's open. Now it is it's difficult because it's 23 degrees today, so you're not getting that cool air, but I can feel air coming in, and that will obviously go over the top of the helmet and out the back and keep the top of your head cool. So that's pretty efficient as far as I can tell. In this chin vent there is a little bit of foam, and I do know that you can remove that bit of foam, and then you really have got air blasting through. The motorbike I'm riding doesn't have a screen, so I am getting the full effect of the wind, which is nice. back to the subject of the visor, you have to kind of click it here in the middle to get it to stay shut. There's like a little mechanism in here, and the problem I found so far just handling the helmet is that is quite fiddly to muck about with, opening and closing. And yeah, I'll show you. So there's like a little button somewhere in here, back there, and then you can lift the visor up and down, but it's not terribly easy to sort of do it. You've got to muck about, and then this little bit here, this little bit for the visor to lift up and down, it's not terribly easy to find. It's quite narrow, so that can be a bit annoying, I guess. Don't forget to subscribe. So yeah, that's the sort of the only bit on this helmet I don't really like is this visor connector, and then also you've got, this is your sort of lowest intermediate opening, or just not clicked. So if it's not clicked, I guess there's a little bit of air coming through to keep, to keep everything, nice bit of circulation of air. So yeah, that's the only thing. But the ventilation on the helmet is very good. I mean, it's an off-road helmet, so I am getting a lot of air around my chin, and I am getting a lot of air around my ears because it's quite cavernous around there. But that also means that it's going to be quite noisy, I reckon, on the highway. What I have noticed is that little peak that's up on the top of the helmet, it's not getting in the way of things, and it's just blocking out that bit of sun that's up there. So it's quite nice in a way. Quite nicely positioned. So I quite like that. Comfort wise, this helmet is like super duper comfy. There's nothing there's nothing really to say negative on the comfort wise. The only thing I might say is that perhaps for me, probably the cheek pads are a little bit narrow. So I don't know if they do like a wider or narrower padding for it, but if they did and I was going to wear it a lot, I probably would go for that. The other thing I really like about this helmet is how much you can move your head about. It's so, like, the ergonomics of it, it's just so easy to move around with it on, which is obviously quite important when it comes to like, here we go, I'm going to come up to this sort of awkward T-junction here, and then I can look all the way over both sides and I've got no problems at all. And the peripheral vision also is really so good. Something I really like about having this big visor. Yeah, it's really good for that. So I've got this camera sort of set up on a pole, so I'm not going to go off on the highway, but I can tell you it's already quite a noisy helmet, because there's so much gaps where the wind can get up and in. So yeah, it's definitely earplugs in for this helmet, that's for sure. But it's light, it really feels really light on your head. It's odd really, because it's not any, it's not really any lighter than any other helmet, 1,550 kilos or something. But yeah, it really feels very light, yeah. So there you go, all this movement I've got for my helmet. It feels really nice to be able to get your head around, and also that extra peripheral vision from the side here means that actually I can see way more than I could in, say, my Schuberth C3s or even an Airoh, like a Quantum. Yeah, so for like for safety, it's beautiful for that. I've never really had a peaked helmet before. I'm quite liking the little, just a little peak at the front there. I certainly can't feel it being any problem in the wind. Not that it's a windy day and I haven't been on the motorway, but so far hasn't like been annoying or caught the wind or anything. Vision, absolutely excellent. I can highly recommend this if you're looking for a helmet with a bit more vision. And as for the comfort, I think that you couldn't get a lot better. This is straight out of the box, and it's very comfortable helmet. Yeah, I like it. I think it feels really light. I will say it really does feel like a very light helmet on your head, which is it's definitely, I'm going to give this a DDS thumbs up, would recommend helmet, and that's it. That's the end of the video. If you're looking for an ADV helmet, then I can recommend this Airoh Commander 2. Thanks for watching. Bye now. Woohoo! Yeah! Bye!